This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. There is a move afoot, a prospective move. I didn't mean for that to work like that. They want to move the venue of Donald Trump's trial relative to his trying to overturn the 2020 election, his effort to overthrow the United States government by dispatching a mob to the Capitol to try to insurrect what we got going on. And it started with Donald Trump just kind of rambling. I'm sure there's strategy meetings with him and his lawyers, and they know what he's up to relative to threatening the prosecutor, threatening the judge, threatening the jury, demeaning all three groups, not just demeaning the jury, but the actual city in which the jurors live. It's a shit show. Further, remember when Donald Trump, when the defense to all of this was, I have every right to do what I did. I have the right under the Presidential Records Act. It's my right. I have the right. And now that defense has completely fallen away, and the defense is free speech. Now it's free speech. Now it's it's not I have the right. Now it's I could say what I want. Strange how MAGA world has such a short memory relative to what the previous excuses were and the moving of the goalpost. I'm going to read two, maybe three Truth Social posts from Donald Trump that are getting increasingly more and more unhinged as time goes on, and he sees the writing on the wall and he realizes that he's done. It's very likely that he's going to see severe consequence up to and including jail time for the ex-president. He took to Truth Social on August 2nd and he said this: the latest fake case, in quotes, fake, capitalized, brought by crooked Joe Biden and deranged Jack Smith will hopefully be moved to an impartial venue, such as the politically unbiased nearby state of West Virginia. First of all, I wrote it down here. Donald Trump won West Virginia by like 68%, with 68% of the vote, like a 40-point margin. And look, that's not the metric I don't think that just because Trump won there overwhelmingly means he couldn't get a fair trial there. But if you do the crime in a city that voted overwhelmingly for Joe Biden, overwhelmingly, like over 90% of the vote here in Washington, D.C. went for Joe Biden. If you do the crime there, you can't expect us to move the trial venue to Wyoming, where you got 43%, you won by a 43% margin. That's just not how it works, Donnie boy. Continuing on with this post, such as the politically unbiased nearby state of West Virginia, impossible to get a fair trial in Washington, D.C., which is over 95% anti-Trump, and for which I have called for a federal takeover in order to bring our capital back to greatness with a capital G. It is now a high crime embarrassment to our nation and indeed the world. This indictment is all about election interference, capitalized E and I for some reason. Well, this was followed by, if you come after me, I'm coming after you, which is a threat to the jury. It's a threat to the witnesses. It's a threat to the prosecutor. It's a threat to the judge. It's a threat, which was then followed by no way, all caps, by the way. Everything's caps now. Now you don't have to worry about which letters, what words are capitalized, because they're all capitalized. No way I can get a fair trial or even close to a fair trial in Washington, D.C. There are many reasons for this, but just one is that I am calling for a federal takeover of this filthy and crime-ridden embarrassment to our nation, where murders have just shattered the all-time record. Other violent crimes have never been worse, and tourists have fled. The federal takeover is very unpopular with potential area jurors, but necessary for safety and greatness, and for all the world to see. I live in Washington, D.C. I have now for a year and a half or more now. This is not a crime-ridden embarrassment to our nation. He talked about his trip through from the airport, from Reagan National to the courthouse, which is A very short drive that does not drive through the city, the places where people live. It's just like through the government-owned corridor, which is not dilapidated. It is not dangerous. Tourists have not fled. Trust me, they are out in force every day of every week. And then it culminated with this. And then I'm going to play a clip of his lawyer making the same argument about moving the venue to West Virginia. There is no way I can get a fair trial with the judge assigned, quote unquote, to the ridiculous freedom of speech, fair elections case. Everybody knows this, and so does she. We will be immediately asking for a recusal of this judge on very powerful grounds. And likewise, for a venue change out if D.C. You know, very powerful. Everything's powerful with this mook. So this is the strategy that they're going to take. They're going to absolutely attempt to move the venue to West Virginia. And the laughable part of this is here is his lawyer, John, Pocket Silk's going crazy here, John Lauro, making the case that they need to move it to West Virginia because it's a far more diverse area. West Virginia. And then be prepared for actual census data on just how diverse West Virginia is compared to D.C. Watch this.
You still going to pursue a change of venue?
Absolutely. We would like a diverse venue, a diverse jury.
Do you have any expectation that will be granted?
That reflects the characteristics of the American people. It's up to the judge. I think West Virginia would be an excellent venue to try this case.
Speaking of the judge,
very close to D.C. and a much more diverse.
Yeah. So John Lauro, with a straight face on international television, just said, we would like a diverse venue, a diverse jury, one that reflects the characteristics of the American people. Virginia's 92.8% white. It might be whiter than my home state of Idaho. Maybe not, but it's white. It is 3.7% black, 2.2% two or more races, and 2.1% Hispanic or Latino. 92.8% white. Washington, D.C., on the other hand, 40.5% white, 44.7% black, 11% Hispanic or Latino, 4% Asian. But it's not diverse enough here, is what? Now, even if they're talking about ideological diversity, why is it that he thinks West Virginia is unbiased when he won there with almost 70% of the vote? Why is it that is unbiased, but here he can't get a fair shake at all? Because let me tell you, if I, perchance, were to be assigned, I'm a voter here in Washington, D.C., if I got called into the jury pool, I could absolutely give Donald Trump a fair shake, a fair trial. Because I don't want any American prosecuted for crimes they did not commit. That is a miscarriage of justice. It is a misuse of our justice system. So if they were to charge him, just like when I was on a federal grand jury, and there were times where conspiracy charges were brought, and I didn't think so I wouldn't vote for that. They are scrambling. They are panicking. They are reaching at every single possible move to extricate Donald Trump from his self-imposed problems that he's facing. He did the crimes by all metrics that we can see right now. We don't have the actual evidence before us like the grand jury did, but we did witness January 6th We did listen to what he said and watch the mob subsequently follow his orders and go attack the United States Capitol, did we not? Now, unless other evidence is provided at trial and the defense makes an argument to combat that evidence, yeah. Anyway, what do you think? Are you from the wildly diverse state of West Virginia? Well, I'd love to hear from you. Where there's a 92.8% chance that you're white. Anyway, you can call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. If you want to support my work, help produce the show, click the join button, click the super thanks button, or even better, go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore everywhere. I'd love to see you there, and I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.